What's happening, everybody? What's going on? Happy Friday. It is Friday, September the 29th, 2023, 3:37 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hello to everybody who is in Pasadena, California this weekend for the 45th anniversary Halloween convention. I am not able to make it this year, of course, but I did make the 40th. I did make the 40th in 2018, and that was a great time and a lot of fun. And I know there are a lot of people that are making it out to California this year for the 45th. And I think the big bus tour that Sean Clark does, I think, is today, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, I don't know, is the convention... Are they open today? Like, is it on today, or is it just the bus tours today? It might be just the bus tours today. I can't remember. Or they may be doing like I'm not sure. I think it's just tomorrow and Sunday, I think, but I could be wrong. Anyway, nonetheless, maybe you're there. Maybe you're watching. Maybe you're getting on. Maybe you're on the bus tour right now. Hey, it's 3:38 Eastern Standard Time. That means it's 12:38 Pacific Time. So it's only 12:30 in the afternoon. So that bus tour is probably still on. It's probably happening right now. Maybe you're even watching me from the bus. Maybe not. Probably not. What are you doing if you are? Turn me off and focus on the environment. Nobody's watching me from the bus. Let's be honest. But nonetheless, maybe you're watching me after the fact. Maybe you're back at your hotel room and you're watching after the fact. And if that is the case, jump into the comment section below and let me know your thoughts on the bus tour. How was it? Is it your first time there? Is it your first time to Los Angeles? Maybe it's your first time at these locations. I remember my first time at those locations was back in 2015. Before there was even an announcement that they were going to be doing a new Halloween trilogy. It was my first nomination for the Voice Arts Awards. And I was all excited because I was like, oh my God, I've been nominated for Voice Arts Awards. I get to go to Warner Brothers, and because that's where the award show is and all that kind of stuff. And it was just a lot of fun. And so my girlfriend and I that year, we splurged. We had a driver pick us up from the airport who ended up being a Leonardo DiCaprio's former driver. And he was telling us stories about driving Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez when they were dating. He drove them around. He was telling us all sorts of stories. I can't remember his name now. Arsene? Maybe it's Arsene. I might still have his phone number. I'm not sure. But you know, we splurged, and that wasn't on purpose. It's not like you're like, I want Leonardo DiCaprio's former driver. It wasn't like that. It just happened to be that, which was really, really cool. And then of course, we stayed at the Roosevelt Hotel right on Hollywood Boulevard. It was my first time, not my first time being in LA, but my first, it was the nomination and all that kind of stuff. So we decided to go all out. And, we spent a lot of money that that trip, but it was worth it. It was worth it. I didn't win, but it was amazing to be there in that environment, with everybody and all that kind of stuff. Having said that, it was my first time in LA it was, I think, over 10 years, and it was my girlfriend's first time there. So, we did a bunch of stuff. And one of the things that I wanted to do was go and see the Myers house. But again, remember, this is before the announcement. I think it was announced, I think it was 2016, if I'm not mistaken, that it was announced that Blumhouse had come on board to, reboot Halloween and yada, yada, yada. And then I think it was 2017 that it was announced that Curtis had come back on board and all that. Well, this is 2015. So this was there was no, it was Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, and that was it. And so, yeah, I remember that. But anyway, so, we went to the Strode house, and we went to the, that photo that you sometimes see me share with the pumpkin on the stoop, outside of the Strode house, that's from 2015. So that's like almost 10 years ago now. It's hard to believe. Holy fuck, time flies. But that was my first time there. And then, of course, the Myers house is down the street from that. And then, you know, the Hedge is down the street from that. And then we were staying at the Roosevelt Hotel on Hollywood Boulevard. And that's literally a stone's throw away from the Doyle house and the Wallace house. So I got photos there. And then the Elm Street house, of course. So if you followed me for a long time, like years, you've probably seen some of those old photos. Now, I have been back to the locations because I went back to Los Angeles in 2018 and 19 because I was nominated again, which is really awesome. And I did that's when I did the videos from the locations where I'm like in front of the Elm Street house or, you know, the Doyle house or whatever, you know, I'm in the car. You've probably seen those. That was 2018-19. So I've been to the locations a few times, and every time I go, you know, it's just awesome. It's just awesome. And like I said, I was there for the 2018 convention, the 40th anniversary convention. I was there. The 45th is happening this weekend. And I didn't get on the bus tours because I'm not one to really, I kind of like to do my own thing. Like we had rented a car. I like to just kind of go up my own speed, my own time. If you've never been to LA and you don't like driving around or you don't know the city, I mean, listen, I live in Toronto, which is the 4th largest in North America, and Toronto traffic is, you know, comparable with LA at times. So it's not that I was afraid to drive in LA traffic. It's just that when you don't know the city, that's when it can be a little intimidating. But if you've driven in Toronto, you can drive in LA. Trust me. If you're from Toronto, you know what I'm talking about. Holy shit. Anyway, but I can understand that if you've never been to LA, maybe you're not quite sure, you don't want to drive, you spend all the time doing this and doing this, you got to pay close to, to traffic, the traffic's crazy. And I can understand that maybe you kind of want to just let somebody else handle that. But for us, I always wanted to go at my own pace, even in 2018. Plus I'd already been, so I kind of knew all the locations anyway, but certainly, yeah, the bus tours, incredibly valuable. And you'll get insight from Sean Clark and other guest sort of tour guides, I guess, that I know Sean has brought on board. And that's how, I think there's like 5 or 6 buses or something, just crazy. So that's really cool. And that's a lot of work to coordinate, And that's happening today, which is really awesome. So if you were on the bus tour, I'm sure you had a great time. Plus, the advantage too of being on the bus tour, the one thing that you don't get by riding solo is you get to meet other fans, right? You get to meet other fans, you get to be there and talk Halloween, and maybe there'll be a surprise guest, who knows? And you get to just, live and enjoy the awesome Halloween fandom and just that, electricity of being fans, which I totally understand. I mean, I totally get that for sure. I'm just the kind of guy that likes to go at my own speed. I don't know. I'm a bit of a loner that way, I guess. But I know. Party pooper. But not that I wouldn't go on a tour. I absolutely would. I'm just saying the why I didn't. But there's definitely value to it, and I'm sure there's many reasons why it would be awesome to go on the bus tour. So that's happening today, and they're going to all the Hedge, the Myers house, the Strode house, the Doyle Wallace house. I think they're even going to the Hospital of Halloween too, maybe even the Elrod house. I mean, they're doing a lot of stuff, and so that's really cool. And I have no doubt that they will go to the Elm Street house for sure as well, because it's literally on Genesee Avenue, right around the corner from Orange Grove. So you cannot go to the Doyle and Wallace house and not go to the Elm Street house. Although I will say, because the Elm Street house sold a couple years ago, the door is no longer red. It's too bad. I mean, hey, I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. But it still looks kind of cool because it's black. So it's kind of cool looking. It's still, that's cool. You know what I mean? But now the door in the original Elm Street from 1984 was not red. It was blue. It was blue. And then in the sequel, Elm Street 2, it was red. And then it was red from there on out. So its iconic color and most identified is probably red. And when I went in 2015, 2018, and 2019, it was red. So I have photos of me in front of the house, and lots of people do, of course, when it's red. So it really looks like the Elm Street house now, right? Now it's the Elm Street house, but the door's black. And I believe they have like a gate now in front. New owners just kind of want to put their stamp on it, like, hey, This is us. Stay there. Don't come up. Because I know I didn't do this, but I do know there were some people that would not walk up to the door necessarily, although maybe some did, but they would walk kind of past the hedges. Like there's two hedges, and they would kind of just walk past that. So they are on the property. They're no longer on the sidewalk. And I know some people would do that. And I think they probably put that little kind of gate there just to prevent that from happening. Yeah, folks, never walk up on. Now, the Strode House is different because they encourage you, although they are selling it. The Strode House is up for sale. It's up for sale. Oh, it sucks. But the people that lived there for many years did encourage you to sit on the stoop and walk up to the little deck there and pick up a pumpkin and go sit down. So they didn't mind that you were on the property as long as you were just doing that. You know what I mean? You weren't like, climbing up the eaves trough to get onto the roof or something. So they were cool. So it's too bad they're selling. But you know what? Life goes on, right? Life goes on. And you always hope that the next people embrace it. But we have to be respectful. As much as it might suck, maybe the next owners might get rid of that stoop. Right? It's entirely possible the owners might go, you know what? I'm sick and fucking tired of it. This is my property. So I'm just going to get rid of the stoop. Problem solved, right? You know what I'm saying? And although that might be like, oh, no. Hey, it's their fucking house. It's their right to do that. Yeah. Yes, we always hope that somebody embraces it, of course. But I can understand. I mean, if you really think about it, and it's probably more seasonal, they do get people throughout the year, but it's really hot around Halloween time, like right now. And I can understand. I mean, I can empathize and be like, yeah, I can understand how that might be kind of annoying. You know what I mean? Especially if it's like all the time, So, but yeah, so if you're in Pasadena for this weekend, get over to the Strode House now and get it in, because you never know who's going to buy it. You never know what kind of people they're going to be. So you always hope that they embrace it. And of course, the Myers House is a business, and they have embraced it, but there is a sign that says stay off the porch. Now, people still go onto the porch. I've sat on the steps before. I get it. Just be mindful, be careful of that. Try not to do too much. They don't mind that you take photos, from afar, and that's totally cool, and stand in front of it and all that kind of stuff. But they don't want people climbing up all onto the porch and all that kind of stuff. Again, I've been on it. That's how I found the sign. Actually, I had to walk up onto the porch and see the sign in the window that says, don't come onto the porch. It's like, oh, okay. But I sat on the porch, got my photo taken, but there was nobody around. And I think it was a Sunday. The business was closed. So I was like, I'm just going to do this. You know what I mean? And I got it in. But if there's a lot of people there, be mindful of that. You know what I mean? Because it's private property now, right? But it's exciting. I'm thinking about all you fans this weekend in Pasadena. Frank and Darren, of course. Shout out to Frank Riker and Darren. They met this weekend. They finally met this weekend. They've never met. Of course, Darren is over in England. Frank is in New Jersey, and they finally met this weekend. It would have been like a 10 or 11 hour flight for Darren. My God, the jet lag must be intense. And of course, they posted a photo on their social media. So shout out to Frank and Darren of the Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast. They finally met in person. I wish I could be there. It just sucks. But it'll happen. One day it'll happen. One day all of our paths will cross, and it will happen for sure. But I think it's cool. I think it's cool to that they finally had a chance to meet, and now I don't know if they're doing the bus tour or not. I'm not entirely sure. That's a good question. I don't know. I think they're doing their own thing. I think, because I'm pretty sure they were renting a car, and they might just be kind of doing their own thing. But yeah, I think that's awesome. And of course, they'll be there all weekend. Make sure you say hi to them and all that, and just have a good time. Soak it up, live it up. This could be, because some of these alum are getting older now, your Nick Castles, your Dick Warlocks, your Tommy Lee Wallaces. There are people that are getting older, and not to sound like a, like a downer, but it is true. I mean, we don't know how many of these people will be at the 50th. I mean, already Erwin Yablans and Charles Cyphers canceled. And they canceled from what looks like health reasons. Now, that doesn't mean that they're, like really, really sick or anything like that. But obviously they're sick enough that it's like, you know what, it's best that I don't go. I don't want to get anybody else sick, and I don't want to make it worse. And both Irwin and Charles are well into their 80s. So I think Irwin might even be knocking on 90. He's at least like, 85 or 6 or whatever he is. So somewhere around there. So, they're up there. Now, they're very sharp, still with it, but I get it. So we don't know how many of these people will be around for a 50th. And again, I'm not trying to sound, morbid when I say that. It's just the reality. We don't know. So soak it up, live it up. Get as many autographs as you can, bring that cash, and just have a great time this weekend. And take lots of photos. And, tag me in some on social media. If you're on Instagram, tag me in, don't tag me in everything, but, but I just mean, if there's a photo you think that, that I would find cool or that I'd like, tag me on Instagram. I'd like to see it and live vicariously through your enjoyment and your excitement. So really, really cool. Really, really cool. Let me, and look, if anybody is watching right now, there's 134 people in the chat room. Is anybody right now at the convention? Are you on the bus tour? I mean, please turn me off and pay attention to, what's going on. But are you on the bus tour? Are you at the convention this weekend? Let me know if you're watching me right now. And like I said, if it's after the fact, jump into the comment section and let me know. Hey, Destiny Faulkner. Hey, Destiny says, just visited LA a couple of weeks ago for the first time. It was so cool seeing the filming locations, isn't it? It's pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah, especially when it's your first time. Obviously, like anything, it gets less cool the more you go, but it's still cool. It's still cool. I mean, it might not be like the first time, but it's still cool. So that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, no, it is cool. And like I said, my first time was in 2015, and I had a lot of fun, going and taking photos. And I have a lot of photos that I don't know if I've shared. I mean, I've shared on social, but there's a lot that I haven't shared, even from that trip, which was a lot of fun. I love LA. We sort of have a routine, my girlfriend and I. We go, we rent the car, we have our hotel we go to, we have sort of our spots we want to go. Last time we were there, we drove up the coast, which was a lot of fun. So yeah, it's, I didn't, when I first went to LA, I was kind of not nervous, but because I don't know the city, or I didn't know the city. Well, I was there in 2003 for an acting convention, but I didn't have a car. I was there with a bunch of fellow actors. But in 2015, I rented a car, and I remember being a little nervous, not for the traffic, because like I said, if you live in Toronto, if you can drive in Toronto, you can drive in LA. The difference is that I didn't know the city of LA. Like in Toronto, I can drive around and, I know where I'm going. I don't have to think about it, right? When you're in a city you don't know that has that many people and that much congestion, you find yourself, you're doing double duty, right? You're driving and you have to pay attention to the traffic, but you're also trying to pay attention to the street signs and where you're going. Oh, I think it's here. Oh no, wait, so there's that sort of double kind of, your mind is preoccupied by two things, as opposed to one. I mean, obviously LA has more people than Toronto. Toronto is the fourth largest after it's the next after LA, but I can say that, and this is just my experience, driving in LA, is comparable to driving in Toronto in terms of the traffic and the volume and the bumper to bumper on certain highways and things like that. It feels very similar. So that was okay for me. I was just a little weary about, now I gotta, and everybody or anybody who knows that I'm talking about, right? Because you're doing this and then you're paying attention. Oh, geez, I got to stop. Hey, is that the, oh, because you don't know where the fuck you're going, right? And so that can be a little intimidating, but it's really, it's the only way to do it. Not the only way, but if you want to get anywhere quick if there's no traffic, we decided to do that. So, I know that some people are renting cars and some people aren't. So just be safe out there. You know, it's LA. I mean, it's, you know, one of the biggest cities in the world, and it's a lot of traffic and congestion and a lot of avenues and a lot of people, a lot of craziness. So just be careful out there and stay safe and pay attention and, you know, just drive safely. All right, super chat. A couple super chats came in. Let me see. Let me get these. Roberto Torres sends in $4.99. This is Roberto's first super chat. Amazing. Thank you, buddy. Really, really appreciate that. Sends in $4.99 and says, hey, Dave, love the channel. Thank you. Been around since age 18. I love it. Been a crazy ride. It has. Can I get a but Dave? Also, what are your top 5 films ever? But Dave! Dude, my top 5 films ever? I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I can tell you that, you know, 2 of my favorites are The Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile, both directed by Frank Darabont. Adore those movies. Just the emotion, the power. It's just incredible filmmaking and storytelling. And directing, based, of course, on, you know, two stories by Stephen King. You know, obviously my favorite horror movie of all time is the original Halloween. But I don't know. I mean, I love Jaws, you know, The Exorcist. I mean, The Empire Strikes Back, you know, God, I don't think I could choose. I don't think I could choose a top 5 favorite movies of all time. You know, I can choose a top five of my favorite films, right? So Shawshank, Green Mile, Jaws, Halloween, Exorcist. There's 5 movies that I absolutely love, but I just don't. I don't think I can. I don't think I can choose a top 5 favorite movies. Period. Do you know what I mean? It'd be so difficult. But man, thanks for the super chat, Roberto. Really, really appreciate that. Josh McKenna sends in $9.99. Thank you, Josh. Says, have you seen The Spanish Prisoner with Steve Martin? It's a dramatic role for him. I have not. I've heard of it, but I have not seen it. So I will have to check that out. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate that. And thanks again for the super chat. Really appreciate that. Let me see. Just want to make sure I get them all. Tony Spigali, I think I'm saying that right. Tony sends in $2, says, can we get a pic of Frank and Darren spooning? Well, maybe you might get a pic of Frank and Darren spooning. It's entirely possible. They may be spooning. Speaking of Frank and Darren, there he is, the Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast. Says, I posted it to you, Tony. There you go. So Darren is in the chat room. Darren, just driving to the Fog Church. Amazing. I love it. I've never been to the Fog Church. I'd love a few of the locations I'd love to go. Yeah, the Fog Church. I'd love to go to the Lighthouse. That's not in past. That's up the coast more. That's a bit of way ways. And I don't think you can get down to it either. But it would still be cool to see. And there's other movie locations in and around the Myers, like the Back to the Future house, and like there's all kinds of cool shit in Pasadena. They have shot it like a lot. Pee Wee Herman's house is in Pasadena. Of course, the Myers house from Rob Zombie's Halloween is in Pasadena. So there's a lot of cool stuff. So yeah, let me know in the comment section if you end up checking out some other stuff. But that's really cool that Frank, and I'm assuming, Darren, I'm assuming Frank is with you, Darren. You guys are heading off to the Fog Church. That's awesome. Take photos and tag me. Or just post them and I'll see them. Davey Deathray says, on the way, we'll be in Pasadena in 2 hours. Love it. Good luck, everybody. Have fun out there. Brian Sanchez says, and lucky for me, I haven't been sick since the C-19 hits anyway. And I talked about that. That's a whole another story. Long story short, or anyhow, let's talk about movies. Okay, he must be talking to somebody else. I'm not quite sure how that's relevant, but nonetheless, Brian, let me see. Frank, is it Chronoge, maybe? Frank is probably in the hot tub right now with Pamela Susan Shoop. Oh, you might be right. He may be in the hot tub with Pamela Susan Schnoop. And folks, a reminder as well, if you want to become a member here on the channel, the link is in the description for exclusive shows and perks and polls and photos and all that kind of juicy stuff. If you want it, we have my level number 2 membership. We have Horror Movie Nights, which is a watch-along party. One Good Scare, which is the Halloween-only show. There's another one coming up for that. And, of course, member-only Q&As and all that juicy kind of stuff. So if you want to become a member here on the channel, the link is in the description. Check it out. You can see some of our members in the chat room there. They have their name is highlighted green with certain badges beside their names. He's in the hot tub with me. Oh, there it is. He's in the hot tub with Darren, which, I mean, totally makes sense. Dave, my birthday is in May. Can I get an early birthday shout out? Well, so is mine. My birthday's in May too. An early birthday shout out. Blair, I think this is more of a late birthday shout out. I think we have to hit 2024 for it to be an early birthday shout out. Blair, don't get greedy, Blair. Don't get greedy. It's September. Come on, Blair. Come on. This is, Blair, I think we're stretching it. Blair. I think we're stretching it. I mean, come on. May? I mean, if your birthday was in November or, October or next week, May? Blair, it's like, it's over half a year away. If I give you an early birthday shout out, I got to give everybody in the chat room an early birthday shout out. Happy early birthday, Blair. Steve Ross says Erwin Yablans is 89. Yeah, see, that's what I said. I thought he was knocking on 90. Yeah, I thought he was knocking on 90. So that means he was 84 when I met him at the 40th. And he was with it. He was sharp. I know that he just recently had a birthday because I saw Mickey and his wife and his family post some photos. So he's, he still looks good, and like I said, when I met him, he was sharp. He was with it. There is that interview, by the way, if you just YouTube Dave Mcrae, Erwin Yablans, it should pop up. It's an interview that I posted that I did with him. Very candid, casual sort of thing at his table while at the 40th anniversary. So check it out if you're interested in that. I think it's about 5 or 6 minutes long. He was sharp. He was with it. He didn't seem 84 at all. He seemed just as sharp as my dad was when my dad passed away and he was 69. So I imagine he's probably still pretty sharp. He probably just came down with a cold, something. And because he is a senior, and he's 89. So he's even on the older end of, senior territory. They have to be very careful and they don't want, even if Erwin, it's entirely possible that, and I'm purely speculating here. I don't really know. This is just pure speculation, but it's possible. I think it's possible that Erwin and Charles Cyphers may be perfectly fine to attend. They may just be a little under the weather. Like maybe there's just a little, a little something, a little something, nothing crazy. But because of their age and because of, how susceptible they are to other strains of the big C or, even just susceptible to the flu, whatever the case is. And at a convention, you don't know who's got what rolling through there, and who's going to come up to the table and go, "Hi, how are you? Oh, I'm your biggest fan. Oh, Charles." You don't know. And because they're feeling a little, a little something, their immune system is already slightly compromised. So it is in their best interest not to go. And it is true that they are not going because of their health. And so that could be the case too. They could be like, if this was, 4 or 5 years ago when it wasn't so crazy with everything going on, maybe they would have showed up anyway. Do you know what I mean? And just kind of kept their distance, whatever. And again, I'm purely speculating. They could be, in bed with a big cold. Who knows? But because of their ages, because of how susceptible they are, not just to the big C, but to just a cold. And with, hundreds and hundreds of people ripping in through that convention, it's probably in their best interest to kind of just go, yeah, gonna pass, because of their ages. Whereas, if somebody like Danielle Harris had a little bit of well, she'd probably go. Right? Because her immune system is stronger. She's much younger. And, it's not as a big of a deal if you're, to somebody who's knocking on 90. So, I think whatever the case is, I think it is the right decision to make, and who knows, maybe, listen, look at Dick Van Dyke. Dick Van Dyke is knocking on 100. I think he's like, 98 or 99 or something. And he looks a lot older now. Like he does, but he's still pretty fucking sharp, So who knows? Maybe in another 5 years, Charles and Erwin will, Erwin will be 94, but he'll be a sharp wit at 94, and he'll show up and he'll sit down there and yeah, he'll look a little more frail, than he was maybe at the 40th, but because he's now 94 instead of 84, but he's sharp and he's with it and he's there and he's still got those stories and he's still signing those books and autographs or whatever, and it'll be cool. Who knows, right? You never know. Same with Charles, you never know. But it is unfortunate because they are older and you just don't know. You know what I mean? You just don't know. All right. I haven't missed any super chats, have I? Let me just go back. Tony, I think Tony was the last one, if I'm not mistaken. I just want to make sure we're not missing anything here. Davey Deathray says, really hoping to meet those TSL guys. Oh, you will. You will. Just look for the hot tub. Frank is actually cosplaying as a hot tub. He's going to be going with a gigantic hot tub. Well, he'll actually be sitting in the hot tub. And so it's and Darren will be wheeling him around. Oh my goodness. Let me scroll down here. Brooke Scarlett, hey, one of our great channel members is here. Brooke. Melissa, of course, is also here. Lee the Machine Bowers is here. Says, imagine Dave and Tom Atkins in Halloween 3 bar drinking chocolate milk. Oh my goodness. Well, see, that's the thing too. That's so unfortunate. Because I've already met Tom Atkins now, I have a good icebreaker, right? I could say, hey, Tom, I was the Freddy at the convention. He'd be like, oh, yeah, what's going on? And I'd be like, hey, listen, I'm not much of a drinker, but which is true, I'm not. I mean, I can, at like special occasions, and things like that, but I'm not like a drinker per se. I never really have been. But I could be like, listen, Tom, would you have a shot of chocolate milk with me? That would be so much fun. You know what? I bet you he'd do it. I bet you he'd do it. Why not, right? I bet you he'd do it. That would be fun. Now, whether the bar has chocolate milk or not, I don't know. I may have to bring my own little carton of chocolate milk and pour it into the glasses so we could do it. Because some bars do have chocolate milk. It's rare that I find a bar that does, but every now and then I'll be in a pub style bar, and they will have chocolate milk. Or they'll have like chocolate syrup and they'll have to like squirt it and make it, not necessarily, which is fine. But yeah, that's fun. Is that happening tonight or is that happening? I can't remember when that's happening, but yeah. That'll be fun for a lot of people who want to do that, for sure. Yeah. Have fun this weekend, guys. Have fun. Take lots of photos. Bring lots of money. Buy lots of t-shirts. Get those autographs. And just soak it up. And just enjoy yourselves. you know? I'm sorry I can't be there. I wish I could be there. I loved being there at the 40th. I wanted to be there at the 45th, but unfortunately I'm unable to make it. But you know what? There's always the 50th, right? There's always the 50th. So, you know, I will make it my life's mission to be at the 50th. And by that time, I myself will be nearly 50. Jesus Christ. I'll be 49. Oh, God. It's gross. It's gross. Nonetheless. Not that there's anything wrong with being 50, of course. I'm just saying it's amazing how time flies. Guitarist Dog 87 says, Dave, I once had a manager at my job that could have been Donald Pleasance's doppelganger. Same height and bald head, but clean shaven with a goofy personality. Think an obnoxious car salesman. Oh, yeah. I know some obnoxious car salesmen out there. That's funny. That's really good. That's, yeah. Well, I mean, you know, some people have posted that, right? There's lots of people that have posted photos of, you know, people who they think look like Donald Pleasance. There's a lot of Donald Pleasances out there. That's cool. Let me see here. We had Scott Wood says, hi, chat. Hello, Scott. Great to see you here. Fauci Cinema. Hey, Matt Fauci. Great to see you here. Matt says chocolate milk in a dirty glass, of course. I love chocolate milk. It's just, I don't know. But the funny thing is that I don't buy it. So I don't buy it. Like I don't have it in my house, in my fridge. I have. It's not unprecedented for me to buy it, but I don't normally, like not really at all ever, because then it feels like a treat when I'm out. You know, I'm out at a pub or a restaurant or whatever, and I will always order a chocolate. Well, not all the time. Sometimes, depending on what I'm eating, and this sounds so diva, but depending on what I'm eating, sometimes I'll just order water, because sometimes I'll feel like, you know, if it's a big, like, I don't know, steak and potatoes and, you know, whatever, right? To have milk with that, which is thick, right? It's a thick liquid. It just, I feel so after, whereas water helps with the digestion of whatever big meal that is. So, you know, if it's just a sandwich and a salad or something, yeah, sure, I'll have a chocolate milk, whatever. But if it's a big meal, I tend to, it's not unprecedented for me to just have a water. Cause I just don't like the way I feel after a big meal. If I've had like, you know, and look, part of this could be age too. I mean, I'm 44. So, you know, I have noticed that my body reacts differently now than it did when I was, say, 24. You know, when you're like, or 17, when you're a teenager or in your early 20s, you can fucking scarf down a gigantic supersized, you know, Coke with fries and a big Mac and, you know, whatever, and fucking go out and jog. I mean, you know, like, because you bounce back so, you know, quickly, you know, and it's just like, what the hell? But now that I'm in my 40s, approaching my mid 40s, I have noticed over the last number of years that my body reacts differently. And so, you know, I can't have that big Coke, that big burger, those humongous fries. It's just because the Coke in and of itself is carbonated, right? So it fills you up. And then I got the burger and the, like, you know, and it's just like, oh, I feel so gross. I just feel gross. So I really got to take my time. Anyway, TMI, too much information. But hey, the more you know, the more you know. I hate getting older. Michael Dammit says, Dave, have you ever had chocolate and strawberry milk? It's wonderful. I haven't had chocolate and strawberry milk together, but I have had strawberry milk before. Yeah, not often, but I have, and it's good. I like it. I prefer chocolate milk though. Okay, let me see. So who in the chat right now? I know Davey Deathray is on his way. I know that, of course, Frank and Darren are already there. Who in the chat room right now is either in Pasadena? I know Cody Snyder, one of our great moderators, he posted a photo of himself this morning with Dick Warlock. They were outside waiting for the bus, which doesn't surprise me. I'm not surprised that Dick Warlock is, I think he's probably going on the bus tour with everybody. Don't quote me on that. It's just, I know he's done that before. So that's probably why he was outside with everybody. So that's really cool. So who is going? Who is there already right now? Let me know. I'd be curious to know if you're there right now. What are you seeing? What did you do today? Have you done anything? What do you hope? What autographs are you hoping to get? All that kind of stuff. Let me know. Let me know. That's what she said. Says, you don't look a day over 30, Dave. Oh, well, thank you. Really? Well, that's very nice. But then again, you haven't seen me in person, so. But that's nice. Thank you very much. It's probably the hat. Not that I'm bald underneath the hat. I have a full head of hair, but I always wear hats. So, but I appreciate 30. Really? 30? Well, I'll take it. Hopefully when I'm 60, that means I'll look 45. You never know. Let me see here. That's what she said. Says, I can't make it. Unfortunately, I wish I could. Bobby Hall. Hey, Bobby Hall. Bobby Hall and I met at the 40th anniversary convention. So, and you live in the area, obviously, so I'm not surprised that you're going to be heading out to the 45th. That's amazing, Bobby. That's amazing. I'll be going to the convention on Saturday. Awesome stuff. I'm just curious, if there's anybody in the chat room right now who is there, who's planning on going. If you are there right now, what have you done? Have you seen anything? Did you go on the bus tour? Are you what? Just let me know. And I understand that I'm doing this on the Friday at 4:00 in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time, which is 1:30 in the afternoon Pacific Standard Time. So I understand that maybe some people won't be able to chime in with all that juicy info until after the show. So if you're watching this after, like I said, jump into the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. Even if you're watching this on Saturday or Sunday, jump in and let me know what you got, who you met, what crazy thing happened. Let me know. I want to know. Lee the Machine Bauer says, Dave, question, what are your thoughts on A24 in the bidding war for the Halloween rights? Well, I sort of gave my thoughts on the show that I posted the other day, although maybe I didn't quite dive into it. I just kind of covered it. A24 is in a bidding war for the TV side of things, right? So, again, as I said in my Mcrae Live the other day and the addendum video, Malika Cod and Trancas International own, I would probably say 51% of the rights to Halloween. It's everything. And Miramax owns a portion of those rights for film. And there's a bidding war happening right now for the TV rights. So A24 is interested in the TV side of things, not a motion picture. That doesn't mean that they won't and they can't be. But it's also important to note, and I want to stress this again. Just because Universal bought the rights to The Exorcist for $400 million, that doesn't mean that Halloween is worth $400 million. Now, I'm not saying it's not worth $400 million. I don't know if that assessment has been done yet. But one of the ways that you do not calculate the worth of a franchise is how much it makes at the box office. Because there's many different factors. So when, as I said in that previous show, when a movie makes, let's say, $500 million at the box office, let's say, okay, a movie makes $500 million at the box office. That doesn't mean that the franchise is worth $500 million, right? Or they made, or the studio makes $500 million. This is, again, the Coles Notes, the Cliff Notes version. Coles Notes is the Canadian thing. Generally speaking, the studios will get 40 to 50% of that. And then the other 40 or the other 50 to 60% goes to the theaters. And so the studios, let's say, get 250 million, let's say. But there's also taxes on top of that. Now, I don't know what that comes out to, but let's take 50 million right off the bat for taxes. So now the studio's left with 200 million. But there's also interest they have to pay back to the banks for the money they borrowed to make the movie. So they have to pay that interest back. They also spent money on marketing, right? So you got to factor that in. There's also studio overhead. They have to pay everybody, right? All that kind of stuff. So, at the end of the day, when a movie makes 500 million, the studio might see 100 million, 130 million, do you know what I mean? So, we have to always remember that for example, the 3 David Gordon Green movies made nearly $500 million, right? It was like 493 million. If you add up the box office totals of each film, the worldwide totals, that's gross. That doesn't mean that Universal and Blumhouse get $500 million. That's not what that means. So, I just hope people, because I've received some messages from people saying, yeah, but Dave, they could spend $500 million because it made 500. And it's like, no, that's not what that means. I don't know how much the franchise is worth. I know some people might think, well, it's got to be worth $900 billion. I would be stunned and shocked if it was worth anywhere near that. This isn't Marvel. This isn't DC. This isn't Star Wars. Okay. Has the value increased because of the David Gordon Green trilogy? Sure. But this isn't a $1 billion franchise worth. Okay. I mean, there's some fucking tech companies that aren't worth that much. So, no. Anyways, I just want to say that. I want to reiterate and say that because I think it's important that we remember that we cannot judge the value. I mean, it plays a part. It plays a part for sure. But it's not black and white. Oh, the David Gordon Green trilogy made $500 million at the box office. Therefore, that means now the series is worth 500. That's not what that means at all. That's not what that means at all. They're two completely different things, and they're evaluated two completely different things. So they're evaluated differently. Anyway, it's A24 is in the bidding for the TV rights, the TV side of things. They already have the rights to, Friday the 13th, the TV side to Friday the 13th, right? And keep in mind too, like I said, there's many different ways to structure a deal. There isn't one way to structure a deal. It's not just, the rights are up for sale. This is how much it costs. I buy the rights and now I can do there's so many different ways. There's so many different stipulations and things they can put in deals. There's 100 different ways to structure a deal. And so we don't know what that deal is going to be. All we know is that A24 is interested in obtaining the TV rights to do television with Halloween. And what does that mean? Michael Myers? I don't know. Maybe the deal is something like, hey, we want to do Season of the Witch. But Trancas is like, hey, you can do Season of the Witch as long as you also do Michael Myers. So you do like a mini series of Season of the Witch, but you also do Michael Myers. Like there's many different ways to structure a deal. Like we don't know what they have in mind. I've always thought that Season of the Witch is on the table because I see it as a viable, untapped potential explored option. I don't mean that's all they do. I just mean, I think Season of the Witch would make an interesting series, and I still believe that. Is that what they're going to do? Is that what they want to do? I don't know. A24 obviously is known for their, elevated horror, and they're more psychological but A24 makes good movies. Not all the time. I'm not saying every A24 movie is good, but they make good movies. And I think when you have a production company, because that's what they are, basically, on board wanting to make, how do I say this? I got so many thoughts in my head at once. Let me just say this. do I think A24 is the right fit for Halloween? I think at face value, I can understand why people would say no, but I am willing to give them a shot because we don't know what is A24's Halloween. What is it going to be? And if there's one thing, like, I'm okay, like, and I know I don't speak for everybody, but I'm okay. I'm Michael Myers. Like, I don't need to see another Michael Myers movie that's just more of the same. No, Dave, Michael Myers is this, and this is how you do Michael Myers, and it's got to be like this, and it's got to be like this. Okay, but I've already seen that. I've seen it through 12 movies. There's good, there's bad, there's ugly. I don't need another studio to come along and just tell the same fucking story over again and just set it in a different time. It's not 1963, it's 1983. It's not 1978, it's 1998. It's not like, but it's the same story. A little boy kills his sister. I don't care. I don't care. Now, when I say that, that doesn't mean I don't think that can't be done good and done well. And, oh, wow, this is actually, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying at face value, I'm good. I don't need to see that so soon after Halloween ends. Do you know what I mean? So I'm more excited about other avenues, telling other stories. I'm very hesitant on telling the Michael Myers thing, all that stuff, the earlier stuff, him in, a Dr. Loomis series, all that, and I've explained why. But I think A24 might be a good fit, for a series. And we'll know when we see the Friday the 13th. It's like winning changes everything. And movie fans are like sports fans, right? You get online, and if your team loses 5 in a row, they're fire the coach, fire the manager, fire that, fucking trade that player. They're fucking dog shit. Holy fucking shit. They're a piece of shit. Fuck that team. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. These armchair quarterbacks, right? They're, fuck you, fire the coach. If they just did this and they just did this. And then all of a sudden, the team goes on a 2-game winning streak. And you see everybody, in the, yeah, woo, yeah, love my boys, love our boys. That's right. Those are our boys, man. Woo, yeah, woo. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. It's hilarious, really, at the end of the day. And you see it in sports. You see it in movie fandom. A24, no. Fuck A24. They're the wrong person for Halloween. I'm telling you right now, they're wrong. Crystal Lake comes out. It's amazing. A24. Yes. A24. Yes. I told you A25. I think we should go with A24. Look what they did. A25. And it's just like, oh my God. Fans are like that. They are. You know what I mean? It's like sports. When you're losing, fuck them. When you're winning, yes, they're the right people. I mean, maybe Crystal Lake's going to be amazing. And we're going to watch and go, holy shit, this is really good. You know what I'm saying? And then you'll see people going, oh, I can't wait for Halloween from A24. All those people are like, fuck A24 and their elitist bullshit. And then Crystal Lake's amazing. Yeah, A24. Yeah. It's like sports, man. It's sports. So winning solves everything. So if Crystal Lake comes out and it doesn't have to be amazing. It doesn't have to be amazing. It just has to be good. If Crystal Lake comes out, it's like, wow, actually, this is pretty good. Then you'll see everybody getting really excited about A24's Halloween. If A24 was to get the rights to the TV, the TV rights to Halloween. But I'm open to it because I like A24 as a production company. I like the movies they produce. I like the layers and I like the psychological horror they produce. And so I'm willing to give them a shot. And see what sort of new life can they inject into a diminishing returns franchise. Because Halloween is diminishing returns. It is. I mean, Halloween Ends made less than Halloween 18. Halloween Kills made less than Halloween 18. Halloween Ends made less than Halloween Kills. And so, at this rate, it's diminishing returns. And most slasher movies and franchises are anyway. And so, what sort of new life can A24 inject into it? And we'll see. We'll see. I'm ready to give them a chance. Even if they were going to do a film, even if they were going after the film rights, I would be open to it, but they're not. They want the TV rights, which means A24 has some ideas and they got Crystal Lake. Do I think this means there's going to be a Michael versus Jason? No. I don't think that, because just because you have the rights, the TV rights to make Crystal Lake and make, let's say, Haddonfield, whatever the case is, doesn't mean you can just take those two and put them together. That doesn't mean that, because remember, it all depends on the structure of the deal. What's in the deal? Malik Akkad may say, hey, listen, you've got Jason Voorhees. You can produce a Halloween series, but ain't no Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers coming together. And that could be part of the deal. Part of obtaining the rights could be you do not put Michael in with Jason, right? And in order to do that, they can't just do that. Like, they can't just, oh, we have the rights now, we'll just do that. Unless that's part of the plan, and unless, both rights holders, base rights holders, right? Because basically what they're for all intents and purposes, they're leasing the, they don't own, they're taking it for a certain period of time, and then it would revert back, to Malik again, exactly what happened with Universal and Blumhouse. So, it depends on the structure of the deal and what's in that deal. What's in that deal, and what are the stipulations? So again, do I think this means that we're going to get a Michael versus Jason? No, I don't at all. It does not. It could mean that they may want to explore that, but that doesn't automatically mean that they can just do that. They can't just do that. Right? I mean, it could be in the contract to say, don't do that. So keep that in mind as well. So anyways, I'll get off my soapbox now, but I'm open to it. I want to see what they do. Super chat comes in from Song Fans. Thank you, Song Fans. Sends in $9.99. Says, hey, Dave, if you and Bruce were doing a Halloween fan film, which I thought I heard you say you were doing after It's Me, Billy, too. No, not at all. Who would you guys cast to play Michael, Aaron Armstrong? Maybe you're just being facetious. No, Bruce and I, just so we're clear, we're doing no more fan films. So that doesn't mean that I won't play Freddy in a sequel to Dylan's New Nightmare, or I won't, give somebody advice about their own fan films or whatever. But as far as fan films go, writing, directing, producing, It's Me, Billy Chapter 2 is it. It's it. And It's Me, Billy is, again, for all intents and purposes, although we don't own the intellectual property, it is original for all intents and purposes, because Black Christmas never spawned any sequels. We are the first to do it. So although we are basing it on the characters, the story is completely original, the direction, all that kind of stuff, where it goes. It is an original story. It's just we don't own the IP. And it's a professional film. Again, we have to put the fan film label on it because we don't own the IP, and that's fine, and that's totally fair. And of course we have to do that. We can't make any money from it. But it is a fan film. And Bruce and I don't want to live in a world of fan films, because we want to be able to actually create original IPs that we can make money from, that we can sell to Netflix or Amazon or whatever, right? Have them up there in the theater, whatever the case is, wherever our journey takes us. So It's Me, Billy Chapter 2 will be the last fan film that we do. And now that we, of course, have our own production company, Dark Chapter Pictures, we can start to, explore and move into original IP territory. And we're very excited about that. So, no, but if I was cast to do a Halloween fan film, would I try and get Aaron Armstrong? Or if I wanted to do a Halloween fan film, which I don't, would I cast Aaron Armstrong as Michael? Probably not. I don't have any desire. Look, folks, I really don't. It's not that I'm trying to be, a Debbie Downer. It's just that I think what it is it's just, we've set the bar for ourselves, right? With It's Me, Billy, we're going to do it again with Chapter 2. And in order to be able to do a Halloween fan film, we have to do it like that. And Trancas won't allow that. So I just don't have any desire. Trancas is not going to allow a Halloween fan film with the production value of, Halloween Kills. They're not going to allow that, right? So I just have no desire to do it. I would be open to being hired to do a Halloween film, which I'm not experienced enough, yet in my career that I would ever be looked at to do that. So maybe one day, maybe, a few years down the road when I got a feature under my belt and maybe they would, maybe, who knows, maybe I'd get hired to do some TV episodes or who knows, right? Who knows where the journey will take you? I have no idea. But that would excite me. But yeah, Halloween fan film, I'll be honest with you, it just doesn't excite me. And it just doesn't excite me because I've done so many of them in the past, not professional, but the home movie kind of stuff. And that was fun to do. But I've just I'm out. I'm out. Because in order for me to do it, and you have to keep in mind too, in order to do it, I have to do it on the level, like I said, of Billy and Billy 2. And keep in mind, we're not getting paid for this. It's a lot of work. It's a fan film and there's a stigma around that. But Bruce and I are producing, I always say this, but it's just for context so people understand. It's a real film. And what I mean by that is that we're going through all the processes we would if it was an original IP. So we have to deal with SAG, we have to deal with ACTRA, we have to hire, professional actors and crew and we have to, there's production insurance and WSIB insurance and everything that you would go through to shoot a real movie, we're going through, but we're not getting paid for it. We're literally doing it on our own free time and we love it. We love it because it's for the love of the game and we love it. But the thought of doing all this again for a Halloween film, it'll get us nowhere. It doesn't, I want to finish Billy Chapter 2. And so we have 2 complete narrative pieces and something really special and awesome for our portfolios. And then now we start moving on to original work. And we're very excited about that. So yeah. But Aaron Armstrong, you know what? He's a good Michael, dude. He's a good Michael. So if hypothetically, if I was in that, would I don't know if I would think I don't know if I could afford him. Depends how much money we raised, right? Depends how much money we raised. Because it's expensive making movies. Between, as I said, production insurance, WSIB insurance, catering, locations, airfare, it's thousands of dollars. And so, I don't know if we would even be able, not that he's like this Hollywood star. I just mean that because of his cred now being Michael in Halloween Kills, he might, I don't know. And would he be interested? Would he want to, so I have no idea. Let me see here. How much time we got? We've only been over an hour. That's not bad. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get It's Me, Billy Chapter 2, done. And we're very excited about it. Obviously, anyways, I won't get into all that. It's a whole other thing, but there's a lot going on right now, a lot of stress, a lot of wheels in motion. And I will keep you guys updated as often as I can, hopefully with good news and not news that we have to push the production. Again, because we are a union shoot, we are still in the process of trying to obtain that SAG interim agreement. And so it's getting close to the wire now for when we would have to make a decision to push the production into next year. And so we hope we don't have to do that, but unfortunately it's out of our hands. We're at the mercy of SAG. So this is what we're dealing with. So and there's tons of productions that are dealing with it. So, but we're continuing to work hard behind the scenes. There are lots of things that are happening behind the scenes that we're very, very excited about. And, we're continuing to work hard so that hopefully when it comes in, we're just ready to go, and because I would love so much to have the teaser. There's a teaser that I want to have for you guys on Christmas Eve this year. But in order to have that teaser, we have to shoot the movie this year. And if we don't shoot the movie this year, you won't have that teaser this year, unfortunately. But so keep your fingers crossed. Keep positive vibes out there. Send those positive vibes out there for us. But thank you, song fans, for the super chat. I do appreciate that. Have I missed any other super chats? I don't think I did. Oh, wait. Happy Sanjo. Hey, Happy Sanjo. I almost missed you, Happy. Happy Sanjo sends a super chat. Thank you, buddy. Says, checked into my hotel in Pasadena. Hype is real. Amazing. Well, have a great time this weekend, Happy. And stay happy. Stay happy out there. Stay happy. I'm happy. Maybe that's your theme song, right? That happy song or whatever it is. Vanderhoff says, Dave, I was at age 25 and age 30, age 25 in 2003 and age 30 in 2008. Amazing. I have the age 25, the documentary H25. That was cool. That was cool. Yeah, it's amazing. I know Sean Clark has said that obviously there's an age 45 because they're doing it now. There will likely be an age 50 because it's the 50th anniversary. But after that, 55. Sean seems to think that he's going to be out. His time is done. He's going to be out. And I get that. Sean himself is in his 50s, and by the time he does the 50th, he'll be knocking on 60, I think. He's 53, is he? 53? Yeah, so he'll be probably in his late 50s by the time he does the 50th. You never say never. Maybe there'll be a 55th, but it seems kind of weird. 50th almost feels like the nice round number to kind of just wrap it all up. Wrap it all up. We've gone from 25 to 50, and just kind of wrap it up and, say our goodbyes, because by that time it's unlikely. And again, I don't want to sound morbid, but it is unlikely because there may, listen, Dick Warlock, Nick Castle, Tommy Lee Wallace, Erwin Yablans, Charles Cyphers. There's so many people that are up there that may not even be at the 50th. So the 55th is 10 years away. Unless there's, unless the Halloween series just takes off and there's new people and there's so many new actors and, all this kind of stuff to take over. But I think 50 is a nice way to go out. I really do. I think doing the 50th anniversary, to go out on the 50th anniversary just feels like a nice round number, a nice swan song for the conventions, but like I said, you never say never. You never say never. I'm just trying to see if anybody. Scrolling, want to get somebody I haven't gotten yet. Dream Villain says, if A24 get it, the only way they should cross over the two franchises is have a headline on the Haddonfield Herald about Crystal Lake killings if they were to set it the same timeline era. Yeah, and keep in mind, I don't necessarily think that what A24 wants to do with Halloween is to put them together. They might just want to do their own thing. And also keep in mind, they can't put them together unless it is stipulated in the contract that they are allowed to do so. Because as I've been preaching for the last week, there's many different ways to structure a contract. Many different ways. Just because when you hear A24, and again, they're bidding right now. They don't have it yet. But let's say that A24 gets the rights, right? And Bloody Disgusting does an article in another month from now, and it's like, A24 has the rights to the Halloween series. That doesn't mean they can do whatever they want. It doesn't mean that. It because it all depends on what's in the contract and, what they can and cannot do. And Malik Akkad is very protective of Michael Myers. He's very protective of his baby. And I get it. I understand it. And he doesn't want it to be, exploited in ways unnecessarily. So he may not like the idea of Jason versus Michael. He may not like that. And one of the stipulations is, okay, A24, like I said, you can have it, but you can't put them together. So we don't know what they're going to do. But yes, if they are going to do that, that's a cool way to do it. Yeah, for sure. You had just said it like, I mean, you know, the original Camp Obibosco or whatever, you know, was set in, well, actually is in New Jersey. And I think the original Friday the 13th was, you kind of got the idea it was in that sort of area. Haddonfield, of course, is in Illinois. So, you know, it's not, and then you got Freddie in Ohio. And did you know that as far as I know, the name Springwood, like where Elm Street is located, where it takes place, wasn't revealed until A Nightmare on Elm Street 2. I stand to be corrected, but I believe all through the original Elm Street, you have no idea where this is. It just looks like and if that's true, I read that somewhere. And if that is true, now it makes sense to me why they were so not worried about showing palm trees, right? Because some people have pointed out that, you know, during the funeral of Tina, you know, you can see palm trees in the back. Well, that's kind of weird, palm trees in Ohio. Well, it's because nobody said it was Ohio. I stand to be corrected, but it was a little while ago I was reading about this, and I forget where I was reading it. It was like, yeah, it was a Bloody Disgusting. I can't remember. It was somewhere. And I was like, oh, interesting. So I do stand to be corrected because maybe that isn't true. But I think it is. I actually think it is true now that I think about it. I don't think the word Ohio is ever mentioned, and I don't think the words Springwood, or unless it's one word, Springwood, I don't think the town's name or the state is ever mentioned in A Nightmare on Elm Street 1984. So it makes sense to me that maybe it was always supposed to be some, you know, Southern California town, not LA, but maybe, you know, which is why they didn't care about showing palm trees. It's not like Halloween, you see, where, you know, it's clearly set in Haddonfield, Illinois, and they say that, and then you see, you know, a couple of palm trees in the background, right? That's low budget filmmaking for you. But I believe it was Elm Street 2 where they revealed this is Springwood, Ohio. So there you go. The more you know. Fascinating, isn't it? Fascinating. Anyways, that's a side note, sidebar, but, you know, I think it's kind of interesting. Okay, we'll go for another 10 minutes or so, maybe another 10 minutes, and see what, everybody is saying. Yeah, listen, I don't have any daughters. So can somebody explain to me why is Taylor Swift so popular? Is it her branding? Is it marketing? Is her music really that great? This Taylor Swift thing is just wild to me. Hardy128 says, how do you feel about Taylor Swift buying all the Halloween season movies? Burying all the Halloween season movies. Yeah, I don't. And again, I mean, I'm a 44-year-old man. I have no kids. Clearly, I'm not the target demographic, so I need somebody to help me out. Is her music great? Is it just brilliant marketing? I just don't get it. I know she's been around for a while, but yeah, she's like fucking Madonna level in the 80s. It's like, what the hell's what? I just don't get it. I don't get it, but I am also a 44-year-old man, and that could be why. Johan says, Dave, the year is 1982. Okay. I'm 3 years old. As we know him today, has been hired to shoot a Halloween 3 with Michael Myers. Are you hiring Nick Castle, Dick Warlock, or somebody else? I would hire Nick Castle. That's a no-brainer. I would hire Nick Castle because he was Michael in the original. Yeah, I would probably hire Nick. But I don't know. It would either be Nick Castle or Dick Warlock. But I could see myself leaning towards Nick Castle because he's the OG. But it's not surprising. Like, folks, it wasn't until the internet, nobody cared. Nobody looked at it. Nobody was watching these things over and over. You know, it wasn't until the internet in the early 2000s when, you know, Nick Castle even knew that Halloween was a big thing, you know? And so it makes sense why they just thought it was, you know, just get anybody in the mask. Nobody was analyzing the movements and the walk and all that kind of stuff, you know? So yeah, it's just because of years later, we find out all that shit. But no, I would hire Nick, of course. I would hire Nick. Not that I don't have anything against Dick Warlock. I love Dick Warlock. Such a nice man. When I met him at Mad Monster in Arizona, that was so cool meeting him at Mad Monster in Arizona. And it was cool because we were there as, listen, you know, Dick Warlock's got light years more experience than I do in the industry. Well, I mean, I guess you could say I have more experience than him in voiceover, but he has far more experience than I do on the other side of you know, the business. But because I was there to promote Dylan's new Nightmare, that's why I was there. We were sort of kind of colleagues a bit. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like, you know, I was at a table right across from him, you know, and he just came over and just started shooting the shit. And so it was a lot of fun. Really, really nice man. I posted that photo on my socials. Really nice man. But what was really cool is that, and I mean this, is that we didn't talk Halloween at all. Not once. Because the night before, for those of you that don't know, I was at Mad Monster in Arizona for Dylan's new Nightmare. They put me in the makeup on Friday night, and I was at my table with Miko and everybody for 3.5 hours getting that junk put on me. And I say junk in an affectionate way because it was amazing. Getting all that shit put on me, right? And Tom Atkins and Dick Warlock were at their tables across from me. And they could see me getting it put on and, you know, the progression of the makeup and the application. And Tom Atkins was like, oh my God, he's doing this to me. And I'm pointing at him and I'm like going like this, like I'm going to get him. You know what I mean? We had a lot of fun. So anyways, the next day I'm sitting at the table, just, you know, signing some Dylan's new Nightmare photos and stuff. And, Dick Warlock came up and he comes. I didn't know he was there. I had my back turned. And Cecil Laird was like, Dave, there's somebody here, you know, who wants to meet you. And I turn around and it's Dick Warlock. And he's like, can I have your autograph? Right? You know, just being silly, right? And I'm like, oh my God. And I shook his hand. I'm like, Dick Warlock. I said, I'm a big fan. You know, you're amazing. And he's like, well, you're awesome. I saw you getting the makeup and everything. I was like, yeah. And he's like, so what was this all about? What's going on? And so we just started shooting the shit about that. You know, we didn't talk Halloween. I had no desire, you know, cause I mean, there's very little I don't already know about, you know, Dick Warlock's experience with Michael Myers. I mean, you know, it's been out there for a long time. So I didn't really have any burning questions to ask him about Halloween 2, or, you know, Halloween 3, or, you know, really, I actually probably, if I was going to ask him a question, I probably would want to know what it was like being Kurt Russell's stunt double. That's really cool. And his stunt career. That's what I would want to ask him about. If I ever had the chance to interview Dick Warlock, it's not that I would not, you know, touch on Halloween 2, sure. But I would want to talk about him as a stuntman and his career as a stuntman and just dive into that and just talk about all that kind of, that excites me. But anyway, because there's only so much we can do with Halloween 2, right? But nonetheless, he's a sweetheart of a man, really nice. And we just, you know, I sat there at the table. He was just there, you know, leaning over, and we just shot the shit for about, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it was. And he's like, well, that's awesome, man. He says, you know, I wish you the best of luck with it. And I was like, thanks, man. And he just, you know, he had to go back to his table and, you know, but really, really nice man. And I love Dick Warlock. He's such a sweetheart of a guy. So awesome. So awesome. Yeah, I wish I could be there this weekend because I'd love to go up and actually, what I'd actually like to do, speaking of Halloween 2, what I would like to do, and I should have done it when I was I didn't think to do it because I was so locked into everything Dylan's new Nightmare because that's what was taking up my time, right? I should have gone over, and because I have Nick Castle's autograph on a signed photo of Michael Myers from the original, I should have gone over and asked, you know, him to sign a photo from Halloween 2, because that would have been cool to have, you know, the two OGs, you know, beside each other, right? On my wall. I should have done that. I should have done that. I did not do that. That's too bad. That's too bad. But you know what? Hey, I mean, Dick Warlock's a fighter. He's with it. He's sharp. Maybe he'll be at the 50th, or maybe there'll be another convention that I get invited to for whatever reason. I mean, I'm not exactly a celebrity, but whatever reason I get invited to a convention, maybe he'll be there and I'll have my chance then. But yeah, sweetheart of a guy. Yeah, they all are. Nick Castle's a sweetheart. I've said this too. I met him in 2015 at Fan Expo. Sweetheart of a guy. Like they're just really nice. You know what I mean? They make that experience for the fans, memorable, because that's what it's all about, right? That's what it's all about. All right. A few more minutes left in the show. Lee Bauer says, Dave, on a funny note, what are your thoughts on the Tesla time machine I sent you on Instagram? I think it looks really cool. Kind of looks like a DeLorean. I don't know too much about it, what that all is there, but I thought the photo looked really cool. So yeah, that's really all I have to say on it. Okay, just going back. I don't think I've missed any super chats. I just want to make sure I haven't missed any. I just want to make sure I've not missed any. Oh, Josh McKenna did send in $9.99. Says, besides LA and Arizona, where else have you visited in the States? I have been to New York City. I've been to New York State. Some small towns like Watertown, New York, and some small towns in upper New York there, because Rochester and all that, because back in the day when I was playing hockey, I would visit upper New York for some hockey tournaments. Been to Buffalo, of course. Been to Niagara Falls, over the border. I've been to Chicago, but only at the airport. Been to Florida, of course. Been to Orlando and done, the Disney thing and all that kind of stuff. I've been to, where else have I been? I've been to, why am I blanking? I've been somewhere else. I know I have. I've been to Maine. Bangor, Maine. On the northeast coast up there. I think that's about it, I think. So LA, Arizona, New York City, New York State, like a bunch of small towns in New York State, Buffalo, Niagara Falls, New York, Bangor, Maine, where Stephen King lives. I don't know if he lives there anymore, but he used to years and years ago. Florida, a number of times I've been to Florida. So yeah, I think that's about it. I haven't traveled across the state. I'd like to travel across the states. I would, but I've been to the States, not too many different locations, like half a dozen, but been to those locations many times. So yeah. Sweet Tea, yay! Great to see you here, Sweet Tea. The tea is sweet tonight. Sweet Tea sends in $5. Thank you very much. It's for the channel, my friend. Be safe too, and you as well, Sweet Tea. Thank you very much for sending that in. I really appreciate it. We'll go about another 5 minutes. 5 minutes left in the show here, folks. And like I said, if you are at the 45th anniversary convention this weekend in Pasadena, California, let me know in the comment section below how it went. Who did you meet? What did you buy? Any crazy stories? Was it all you thought it was going to be? Are you excited? Did you meet somebody you've been dying to meet and then they came across as a big bum? Hopefully not. And then you met somebody you were dying to meet. They were everything you thought they would be. I don't know. Jump into the comment section and just let me know your 45th. I understand that the 45th anniversary experience is just beginning, but this might be I'm not going to have a show tomorrow. So I might have a show Sunday. I'm not sure. So that's why I'm like, by the time you guys see me again, the convention might be over. So jump into the comment section if you're watching this after the fact. Maybe you're watching this on Saturday. Maybe you're watching this on Sunday. And let me know all about your experience if you are attending the 45th anniversary Halloween convention in Pasadena, California this weekend. I'm excited for you guys. I wish I could be there. Caleb Dingman says, I'm 22 years old. In my generation, it's just cool to like certain artists. She also has some of the most popular breakup songs for girls ever. Simple, fun, catchy pop music, talking about Taylor Swift. I've heard that. I've heard that she has a lot of, you're right. You're right. You know, and if she, and at that age, right? 15, 16, 17, 14, 18, 19. I mean, at that age, the most important thing in the world, I mean, I haven't been a teenager in, 25 years, but I would imagine that, like it was for my generation, like it was for generations before me, let's face it, the most important thing in the world when you are, 14, 15, 16, 17, is, girls and boys and, falling in love. And, it's the most important thing. When you get to my age, you'll realize how special those times were. Soak it up. If you're young, soak it up. Not that I'm old. I'm just saying I'm nearly 45. So I'm old enough that I can look back on, my teenage years and my 20s and yeah, just, soak it up. Live it. It's true what they say. It sounds like an overused cliche, but it really is true. You can't go back, so soak it up now, live it up now, because you will get to my age and you will look back and be like, wow, everybody's experience is different. Not everybody experiences the same thing. There are people that go through shitty upbringings too. I'm just saying that, live it up now. Because you can't go back, and you will never be healthier and younger than you are right now. I will never be healthier and younger than I am right now, right? Because it's diminishing returns as we age. So, live it up. But yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah, she's got popular songs, falling in love. Yeah, I can see that. It's crazy. She's popular, man. She's huge. Rob Thidoff. Hey, Rob. Rob Thidoff, one of our great associate producers on It's Me, Billy, Chapter 2. Associate, I think, right? Associate? I think it was associate. I think associate. Anyway, says, hey, Dave, having a blast at age 45. Amazing, Rob. Have fun, my man. Have fun. And don't forget to jump into the comment section and let me know how it all goes, who you meet, who you get, all that juicy, fun stuff. I'm excited for everybody who is at Halloween 45 this weekend. Be safe out there and have a blast. Have a blast. Let me see here. Brooke Scarlett says, same here, Dave. I don't get it either. My daughter and I are not fans. So, you and your daughter are both not fans of Taylor Swift. Okay. Hey, that's okay. And you don't have to be. I mean, but certainly there are a lot of people that, it's probably mostly young girls, obviously, that love Taylor Swift. And hey, you know what? I'm trying to think of who were girls into when I was a teenager. Who were they into? Who was big? Like big. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of bands or solo artists. Let's say big solo artists, 1995. It's a long time ago. Who was a big singer in the 90s? Oh, Mariah Carey. Yeah, but I don't think but not like that. I don't recall girls being like, oh my God, Mariah Carey. No, she was just coming onto the scene at that time. I don't know, because I was not into music. I mean, everybody's into music on some level, but I was not into music the same way a lot of people were. Top artists of 1995. Here we go. TLC, Boys to Men. God, this is dating. Oh, Madonna was still, pretty big at that time, but I don't recall like girls like, oh, we got to go to the Madonna concert. I just think a lot has changed. Anyway, these were the big, here we go. Top pop singles artists of 1995. So in 1995, I was 16. So that's like right in prime, like primo, right? Primo. These are the top bands / artists of 1995. TLC, Boys to Men, Hootie and the Blowfish, Madonna, Blessed Union of Souls. Oh, yes. I remember one of, they had some good songs. Alanis Morissette, The Real McCoy. Oh, remember The Real McCoy? Another night, another. Yeah, that was good. Sheryl Crow, Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson was still pretty big at that time, I think. Vanessa Williams, Brandy, Mariah Carey, Seal, the Notorious B.I.G., Montel Williams, Michael Jackson. He's on the list. Monica, Coolio. Didn't Coolio die like recently? Wow. Dave Matthews Band. Bon Jovi, he's on there. But I don't recall anybody being like, oh my God. It's fascinating though. Blessed Union of Souls. Holy shit. Does anybody remember them? I'm really dating myself here, but are they still around? I don't know. Wow. Holy crap. Holy snapping crap. Holy snapping crap. Flick Symmetry says you should make a point to come to Minnesota in October. Great fall colors. One of our maple suburbs is the Halloween capital of the world. Anoka, Minnesota. Annual parade going back over 100 years. That's pretty cool, man. That's awesome. Yeah, no, your climate and us here in Ontario are pretty much the same. So we get a lot of it's already like orange and red now. I was out for a run earlier and the leaves were blowing and I'm like, wow, this is awesome. We have a lot of small towns here, very similar to what, you have there in Minnesota. But yeah, no, I'd love to visit Minnesota. There's lots of places in the States I'd love to visit, but I just haven't gotten around to doing it. But that's awesome though. That's awesome. Yeah. No, it's great, isn't it? I love living. Listen, as much as I don't like, as I've gotten older, I do not, when you're a teenager, you don't care about the winter because it's hockey season. And I played hockey when I was a teenager. So I got excited and we go over to the outdoor rinks and play hockey, hockey with our friends. And, I didn't drive. So you got driven everywhere. And, the only thing that was maybe annoying about the winter as a teenager was, you had to shovel the driveway, for your allowance and, but as I've gotten older and now that, I'm in my 40s, I'm like, I fucking hate the winter, man. I do like it for Christmas. I do like having it for the holidays. That's nice. But other than that, get out of here. But I still love living in a 4-seasoned climate. I don't know if I could live yearly in California. I think I would miss the fall. I would miss the season we're in right now. It's my favorite time of year. Not because of it has nothing to do with Halloween. It really doesn't. It's a bonus that Halloween is in fall. But Halloween could be in April and fall would still be my favorite time of year. I love the fall. I just love the colors and the leaves and the cool crisp breeze and the jeans and the hoodies and the campfire smell in the air from the chimneys. And I just fucking love that. I love it. It's not long enough, damn it. It's not long enough. All right, folks, listen, that is going to do it for this episode of Mcrae Live. Thank you, of course, to my moderators. Thank you to the Super Chat questions that came in. Thank you to my channel members and to everybody who is watching. You are amazing. Thank you so much. If I didn't get to your question, it's nothing personal. The chat room goes by, and you know me, I talk a lot, and I take my time with some questions. But keep asking them every show, and I have no doubt that I will get to them eventually. You are amazing for watching. You're always welcome here. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. And if you are in Pasadena, California right now at the 45th anniversary Halloween convention, jump into the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. Maybe it's your first time. Let me know. What did you buy? Who did you meet? What did you see? Let me know. Frank and Darren of the Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast are going to be there this weekend as well. Let me know if you get a chance to meet them. Have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend, folks. And I will talk to you all soon. Hey, if you want to follow me on social media, you can. There are my links right there. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or X. I got to call it X. Jump into the comment section and check out my links. They are there. In the meantime, in between time, I will talk to you soon. Alrighty. Cheers.